not going to lay down first to 4, not first to 2.
Now we're going to see what we're made of.
I think we're going to have one of those masterful gems from the big fella.
I think he's going to go from midcourt. Got it!
Nothing but the bottom.
The Spurs are alive tonight.
They just punched us in our face early.
This hasn't been their night.
Resounding response from San Antonio in Game 4.
Listen, with the series tied at 2 games apiece, Game 5 really becomes the most important game in the postseason thus far. In NBA history, teams that win Game 5 in a best-of-7 series when it is tied at 2 games apiece go on to win the series 82% of the time. So let's talk about it with our NBA reporter, Tim MacMahon. Howdy. He's in OKC, and our 3-time NBA champ, Danny Green. And Tim, let's start with those Thunder. Their offense, Game 4, awful. I mean, they scored just 82 points, in large part, no Jalen Williams and the A.J. Mitchell's injuries. What more can you tell us about their availability tonight?
Howdy, partners. A.J. Mitchell out again. He has not been ruled out for the series, but the typical recovery time from a calf strain tells you that his return for the West Finals is pretty unlikely at best. Now, Jalen Williams is questionable once again, just like he was the previous 2 games. He missed both those games, was officially ruled out 45 minutes before tip-off after going through what were pretty light pregame warm-ups, basically spot shooting sessions. Now, there was a change in his injury designation. They had been listing him with left hamstring soreness. That is now left hamstring injury management with a strain. And basically it's an acknowledgement of what was obvious. He aggravated the strain that he suffered in the second game this postseason.
Okay, so Danny, how can OKC generate more offense if 2 of their best off-dribble creators are sidelined?
They got to do what they've been doing and what they've been done for the last couple of years. That's create offense with their defense. They got to be active. They got to get deflections. They got to get into people, be intense and be physical, and not turn the ball over would help. So get more shots on goal. But they got to create offense with their defense. Get easy baskets. Get out in transition. Get out and running. Get some open looks for the young guys with Caruso and Casey Wallace and Jared McCain, even Jalen Williams, big Jalen Williams, to knock down threes. It's easier to get uncontested looks when you're in transition. And also, you don't have a set defense of the Spurs and Wemby at the rim when you get transition. So they got to continue to do what they've always done, and in their DNA is be physical and create offense with their defense. So if they do that, they give themselves a chance. And if they take care of the ball, even better chance of them to win at home.
Okay, we'll see if Chet can step up as well. Tim, thank you very much. Danny, stay right there. More from you in just a moment.
Right, because if the Spurs can win Game 5, they're in a great spot for a finals appearance. They have a 13-2 series record when winning Game 5 of a best-of-7 series that's tied 2-2. Their last series lost in this spot was over a decade ago against the Clippers. Joining the party now is our NBA reporter, Michael C. Wright, who is covering the Spurs. All right, Michael, San Antonio had a complete 180-degree turnaround after Game 4. After Greg Popovich had some choice words for the Spurs after Game 3, how did Pop help set the tone for the series moving forward?
Well, let me tell you this about Pop. Back when Pop had the stroke last year and he came back and rejoined the team and addressed them for the first time, Keldon Johnson was telling me the story about how when he walks into a room, you shut the F up. Okay, also, CEO R.C. Buford, he told me that Pop is at his best during the darkest days. Well, after Game 3, those were dark days. They had basically been punked by the Oklahoma City Thunder. And basically, Pop came into the locker room for the first time all season. All the players were there, the staff, the GM, Brian Wright, everybody was there. And he basically told them, hey, this is BS. We're not playing San Antonio Spurs basketball. So that whole speech was about recalibrating the mindset going into this whole thing. Because, look, the Spurs had just come off a 60-win regular season, and Pop was like, is this how you guys want to go out? Well, obviously, that's not the case. They do not want to go out that way. They want to come out on top. So just a mindset change, and it was beneficial for the San Antonio Spurs in Game 4.
Yeah, absolutely. You can read more of Michael's reporting on Pop's impact and his newest article on De'Aaron Fox becoming the Spurs closer now on ESPN.com. Danny, back over to you. Tonight presents another test for this young Spurs team to capitalize on the reigning champs' injury situation and go up 3-2 in this series. What is San Antonio's most important key to get the job done?
Well, they got to come out with the same intensity they did in games 3 and 4, but they have to sustain it. And it starts with Victor Wembanyama. Like, he has to be the most valuable player on the floor at all times and with his activity. He's got to block shots. He's got to get rebounds. He's got to get his own rebounds and putbacks. His energy and activity pours into his teammates, and it makes them ultra competitive to be able to be encouraged to make shots and also defensive plays. So their defense has to be intact. And then when they get up big, they have to stay up big because they've been comfortable leads and they let OKC get back into it. But they have to be on a string. They have to communicate. And Wemby's activity has to be great from start to finish. And when we see him doing that, that's a great indicator that the San Antonios are here to play.
Starting with Victor Wembanyama is always a good idea. Spurs have 10 wins this postseason. That's their most since 2014 when they won the title. Michael, thank you so much.
Yes, it is. That's Christina Alexander, Brian Custer here. Look, in New York City, I mean, they've been partying like it's 1999.
It's a Prince reference, but it's also a Knicks reference. If you couldn't sleep last night, if your head hurts, if you're seeing stars, you may be a Knicks fan and may be entitled to compensation in the form of a championship. No, it is not a dream. The Knicks are back in the NBA Finals for the first time since 1999, and they did it in sweeping fashion against the Cavaliers. New York had zero mercy in Cleveland, winning Game 4 by a 37-point margin. The Cavs have still never beaten the Knicks in a playoff series and have been swept for the 4th time in a best-of-7 series. Cleveland coach Kenny Atkinson said this after the game, quote, "They're playing better basketball. You got to give them credit. They're on a heater." Now here's Kat on how the Knicks got here.
We've gotten to this point because we've worked together. We've been a team. We've been unified. The collective group has shown up in spots when we need to. Landry Shamet, of course. You bring up Deuce McBride, Mitchell Robinson. You could go down the list of players on our team that at special moments in the playoff run have showed up and been huge contributors to our success. So Jalen, of course, deserves the MVP. Had an amazing series. Did what he always does, but it's been a team that's won these games because the defense we've played as a team has been phenomenal, and as a team we've hit shots. We've put each other in positions to succeed and excel, and because of that, we're finding ourselves with this hat, this trophy, the shirt, and having a chance to cement ourselves in history.
And they definitely have. Let's go by the numbers on how the Knicks got here. The first is number 11, which represents their current win streak as they enter the finals. 11 is tied for the 3rd longest win streak in a single playoff run. The next number is 19.4, which is the Knicks' point differential per game throughout the playoffs. That's the highest margin of victory of any team entering the finals in NBA history. And last but certainly not least, we have 3, which is how many 20-point wins they have had in closeout games so far. They're the first team ever to win 3 closeout games in a single postseason by at least 20, and they won each by 30. So they are doing it all. So are we, because NBA analyst Danny Green is with us now. Danny, I just went through the numbers for the Knicks, but which one is the most impressive to you?
I mean, all the numbers are impressive. They're doing an unbelievable job of staying focused and locked in. That's the most impressive thing to me is their mindset, right? They're not satisfied. They're still hungry. They're taking on and embodying that Kobe Mamba mentality, right? Like they flipped the switch somewhere in the playoffs, which, you know, most people don't predict. Early in the season, I was like, they don't look together. They don't look like they're cohesive. But in that Atlanta series, they had somehow find a way to flip the switch and turn it on and then have not turned it off since. And even when they're up 3-0 or up 30 points, they're not satisfied and looking forward or looking ahead like, oh, we're in the finals or we're in the championship. Their expectation is a lot higher. And again, they're showing that they're hungry and not satisfied even when they're up big in games.
Yeah, even when they were down big in games, that mentality really helped them, especially to kick off the series against the Cavs, Danny. But we know what's coming up next. Quickly, how much of a chance do you give the Knicks against the Spurs or Thunder in the finals?
Actually, they're my favorites to win it right now. The way the West is going and how they're battling out, they're beating each other up. They don't seem 100% healthy, especially OKC. San Antonio has some injuries, some guys banged up, but they're playing on those injuries. And even through the regular season, when you've seen that San Antonio is matched up with the Knicks throughout the in-season cup final, they were struggling with them. Like that double big matchup gives Wemby some troubles. And when OKC, if they're down J-Dub or AJ Mitchell, it's hard to create offense with those guys being out. And the Knicks is so deep with Shamet, Deuce McBride, those guys come off the bench. I like the Knicks to be the favorites in this final series, whoever comes out of the West.
Yeah, well rested, but still hungry here for the Knicks. But let's get to the Cavs because they get embarrassed in the conference finals. Danny, what work do they need to do this offseason?
A lot needs to happen. A lot needs to change. They had a great season, big picture, and I love what they did. They got to the Eastern Finals, but you can't be satisfied, right? So you got to make changes now. If you want to be a championship team, you have to compete with the New York Knicks. You have to compete with the Oklahoma City Thunder and the San Antonio Spurs. So that means you got to find the right pieces around you, around Donovan Mitchell, whoever you keep on board. I like Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley to keep. Everybody else expendable. But you got to find 3-and-D wings, some young athleticism, some guys, some bigs that can help you and compete with the New York Knicks, to compete with the San Antonio Spurs, Oklahoma City Thunder. So they got to find a roster and wherever else they make decisions-wise, front office or coaching-wise, to be able to be at the highest level and be contention. But all in all, they had a great season, but it's time to make moves and get better this summer.
Yeah, a lot of work to do. Danny, a lot of work for you. So you're going to hang out with us here on SportsCenter. More from you in a bit. Thanks.